Hello again everyone, this is Yoda123, I am your host, and I am back for another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. So, in our last episode we made our escape from the Shinra headquarters, and we also got our hands on our first enemy skill. For which enemy skill it was we got, see my previous episode, which it'll be at towards the end of the episode that we got it. And so now we're going to head into our next destination, which is the town of Kalm, where we're going to have a little bit of backstory on Cloud. So without further ado, let's get on into it. So once you get in here, your party's going to break off a little bit, but above all else, they're all going the same sort of direction anyway. They're all going into the inn, so we'll all end up there eventually anyway. So our next destination is inside the inn, but before that we can have a little poke around, do a bit of shopping. Let's see, should we get a couple of tents maybe? Why not? Let's get 2 tents. We'll get a couple of these as well, just in case we get hit with anything like that. Don't want to spend too much money because there are a few things coming up later on that we could really do with some money for. Okay, so that's that. Next we have the materia shop. Get another steel perhaps. Could get the earth materia, it's not really that effective. Probably get it later on, to be fair. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. And then next door we've got the weapons store. Now, if you followed my previous episode, you won't need to steal. You won't need to get the cannonball for Barrett because you will have stolen the atomic scissors in the previous episode. Get the mithril claw for Tifa, although we have got a weapon for her which we'll be stealing coming up soon. Okay, so there's not much more we can do from here, so let's actually I should point out that this house here, we will need to come in here later on, but it's quite a bit later on, so I'll leave it at that for now. So for now we'll make our way upstairs. And before we progress, there is a mega elixir to be had here. Or at least I was going to go and get it. Seems I may have just ever so slightly walked the wrong way, and now Barrett's caught me. Okay, so we'll get the mega elixir in a bit. Right now, it seems because I stepped too far forward, we're now going into Cloud's backstory, but it's all good. We can pick the mega elixir up later on our way out. It's not a problem. So for now, we're going to get into Cloud's backstory. Which takes us back into the past, obviously, and it takes us to Nibelheim, which is a destination we'll be going to a bit later on in the game, but we'll leave it at that for now. And so here's the infamous Sephiroth on the right there. There will be a few battles here, but I wouldn't really worry too much about it. I mean, we'll have Sephiroth, you know, fighting alongside us, so, and he's pretty badass, so we don't really need to worry too much. Obviously, those of you that have played this game will know there's more to these scenes than meets the eye. But for the purpose of doing this guide for those of you that haven't played the game before, I'm going to leave it at that for now, since I don't wish to give out spoilers. So we're also learning a little bit of history revolving around Sephiroth as well at the same time, which is always good. Now, these creatures will be fighting later on, and there is a item that can be stolen from it. So this backstory is quite a long stretch, and there is only one point in which you may save the game, so just bear that in mind. So this is Nibelheim. So this is basically set back before Sephiroth turned evil. And as we go through this backstory, we will learn of the events that led up to it. So of course we'll hopefully learn a little bit more about Genova as well while we're here. So for the moment we're free to just sort of roam around. Now there is a reason why I'm going into Tifa's room, and it's because we need to set up for getting her final limit break later on. So that's it for that part. You can choose to annoy Tifa if you want by rummaging through her wardrobe. We can visit Cloud's house as well, where we have a little bit of a conversation with the mother. So we can see where Cloud gets his hairstyle from. So we're getting the standard mother interrogation here. Okay, so when you're ready, make your way on into the inn. And we want to make our way upstairs. And we want to talk to Sephiroth. And when you're ready, you want to get some sleep. and enter Tifa. So Mount Empty Nibble is our next destination, where we're going to be going to the reactor, and it will look very familiar, well, very similar rather, to the other reactors that we've been into. Same sort of design, if you will. Oh, excuse me. Oh. So again, we don't need to worry too much. Since we have Sephiroth backing us up, then bloody hell, he's just wiped them both out in one hit. Okay, so let's progress. As I've also said before, if I'm flicking through the speech bubbles too quickly, please do say something. Now there's a name that we've heard once before. And with Hojo's name being mentioned, are we sort of getting a rough idea of where this might be going? Okay, so we're now inside the reactor. We'll start working our way down. We get a glimpse of what's going on inside. So we now find out that Sephiroth himself was in fact created by Hojo with a very stronger dosage of Mako energy. And of course, on top of that, we also find out that Shinra are producing monsters as well. Okay, so we now get the opportunity to save our game, which we're going to do quickly. Now just remember, this is the only opportunity during the backstory that we get the chance to do so. So let's continue with the backstory. So there'll be a few decent items to be collected in this building later on, as well as a few other things, but I won't go into detail on that just yet. For now, we're going to make our way down through the building and down to the cellar. So now we dig deeper into Sephiroth's past, and also at the same time Sephiroth is now losing the plot a little bit. Okay, so we now need to make our way back out of here. And so for those of you that don't know, this music is Sephiroth's background music. Okay, my bad. It was actually Professor Gaston that created him, not Hojo. I do apologise. Got myself a wee bit mixed up. Though I'm pretty sure Hojo did have some hand in it somewhere along the line. But I'm not entirely sure, or rather my memory's a bit foggy. I can't remember whereabouts down the line. Still, bottom line is Sephiroth was in fact created by an experiment. And thus the evil Sephiroth was born, and the good Sephiroth destroyed. And so we're now back in the reactor again, chasing after Sephiroth. So one would think that that would have killed Tifa, but amazingly, she's still alive. And here's Genova herself. And so that concludes the backstory for now. Okay. Okay, so we'll just quickly nip back upstairs and get that mega elixir, which is inside here. Now you'll have to do this a couple of times, and eventually Cloud will get annoyed and will kick the cupboard and knock it out. There we go. So make sure you pick that one up. It's a very useful healing item that will heal all characters at once to max health. Now we've just received the PHS. Now what this item does is allows us to switch party members out, in and out on the world map. Can only be used on the world map, and I think you might be able to use it on the save points as well, but don't hold me to it. And with that, we will now head for our next destination, which is this way. Huh. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, while off camera I did a little bit of level grinding, and I managed to unlock Cloud's, well, both of Cloud's level 2 limit breaks. It didn't have to take some grinding to do it. Okay, one more battle. so we can test out our enemy skill, our macro magic, which we got in the previous episode. As you can see, it's quite effective. Oh, there's Ares' second level 1 limit break, Sea of Evil. So there's some Chocobo tracks here, which we will be covering in the next episode. And this is our next destination here. So we're going to leave it at that now for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me in the next episode, where we'll pick up next time at the Chocobo Ranch here. And we shall attempt to cross the infested land over there. So for now, thank you so much for watching. Till next time.